What's up, guys? It's Mike the Cop. In this video today, you're going to hear about a 2.5-hour conversation I had the privilege of having with Mitch Aguiar. He is former Navy SEAL, current CEO, founder, owner, proprietor of Massive Supplements, as well as the founder of Adopt a Cop BJJ, which is what brought him into town. Loved getting to hang out with him, getting to know him a little bit more. And I can tell you guys, he is the real deal. What you see online is what you get in person. And I have so much respect for this guy. Learned a ton about his story. I just love listening to interesting people's stories. And he is definitely an interesting person with a cool backstory. So we talked about that, his experience of going into and coming out of the military, and what kind of led him, inspired him into the work he's doing now. And he is a huge supporter of the law enforcement community, truly puts his money where his mouth is with that, and a genuine guy. So I can't say enough good things about this. And again, I don't know what you may glean from this, but I hope it's something beneficial. So sit back and enjoy. Thinking about getting the chance to sit down with you for a little bit here, I was thinking about introductions, right? So people like, oh, this is so-and-so. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, but the sort of like inside joke, not joke, but thing that a lot of cops talk about is when you go to like someone's house, party, barbecue, whatever, and it's like, oh, this is my friend Mike. He's a cop. So do you get the same thing everywhere you go? Like, oh, this is Mitch. He's a Navy SEAL. Like, are you sick of that? Does that bother you? Or is it like you're just so immune to it at this point by being so connected to that? Or do you get sick of that, or do you just want to be just Mitch? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, how do you know a Navy SEAL is a Navy SEAL? They'll tell you.
So there's like CrossFitters, vegans, and Navy SEALs. Is that how it works? Like,
it's one of those. Yeah.
Have to know. But is that super common? Like when you're being connected to a new group of people?
I mean, I think that's pretty common. I think that's common for anything. I mean, that's kind of, I don't want to say your identity, but it's just a unique thing about you, and like your profession is usually one of those things, or like what's the biggest role in your life or something like that. Like, you know, if you're a professional painter, I'm sure people introduce people as, hey, this is blank. He's a painter, or he's an artist, or,
right.
You know, I'm sure famous athletes or whatever, basketball players, it's just kind of, I think that's pretty natural. And I think Navy SEAL, cop, those are things that are just kind of unique and defining a little bit.
Is it what's the right lingo? Because you know, some of the Marines, they say that once a Marine, always a Marine. There is no such thing as a former Marine. Is there? Are you a former SEAL, or are you a SEAL? How's it work?
I would say I'm a former Navy SEAL. I mean, yeah, I don't consider myself a current Navy SEAL, obviously, because I'm not operating. I'm not doing that job. And that job, being a Navy SEAL is sort of a lifestyle. You know, it's not really like a. I would imagine it's probably similar as a cop. You know, it's like you're a cop all the time when you're active duty. Like even when you're not at work, you're still a cop. And same kind of thing when you're active duty as a SEAL. You might not be overseas at the moment or whatever, but you could go at any moment. You know, and you're doing workups and training and stuff all the time. So you're living that lifestyle. You're always prepared. You're ready to go at any moment. So you are, you know, a Navy SEAL at that point. So like even when you're not in uniform and you're just like on the weekends chilling, you're still a Navy SEAL. But at the moment, like right now, I could defend myself. I would defend myself. I would defend my country if we got invaded type shit. I could pick up a gun and, you know, do some Navy SEAL shit. But I'm not like actively shooting and jumping and training tactics and stuff like that, like on a regular basis, staying sharp and staying up to speed with all that stuff, because there are guys that are doing that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know enough to where if shit got real bad to the point where I had to pick up a rifle and where all of a sudden on the streets defending our homeland type shit, then I'd be fine, you know. But yeah, I don't consider myself like a Navy SEAL, like first and foremost. I mean, I'm a former Navy SEAL. It's a chapter. It's definitely a big part of who I am, and has helped molded the person I am today, and I'm very grateful for it and everything. But it's just a chapter of me, and there's a lot more to me. And and it depends on, like, some people, they kind of see me as a Navy SEAL. Some people see me as a fighter. Some people just see me as a businessman. Some people just see me as like a fitness dude or whatever, It's whatever, I guess.
Do you have any fitness DVDs yet?
I don't.
Is DVDs even a thing? Do people own DVDs anymore?
I don't think so.
Well, you'd probably have to stream it.
Yeah.
Or get an app.
Yeah. I remember the last time do you remember the last time you bought a DVD? Or I remember going to Blockbuster and Hollywood Video.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I would go get my Nintendo or Super Nintendo games, for whatever I was playing at the time when I was a kid at Blockbuster. But then, yeah, my biggest memory of Blockbuster was when I was in college. In the floor of the dorm that I was on, there was a Blockbuster down the street in Detroit. I went to college in the city, and so I let this other guy, down the hall borrow, what was popular in 1993. I don't really remember what was probably the hottest movie back then. I can't remember what it was, but
Caddyshack.
That was a little after that, but he failed to return the movie. Ooh. And I started getting these notices, and I went to go rent a movie. They're like, you can't rent a movie until you pay this thing. We never got this other back. I'm like,
you owe $90.
That's what it was. It was like $90. I was like, that movie can't cost. I could go buy a brand new copy at, like, the department store or whatever, right, like for $25, $30 or whatever. They're like, oh, well, we're out our business for all this time for rentals. So, but yeah, I did the Blockbuster thing. A DVD, probably the last DVD that I remember getting was probably like Step Brothers. I think I got that as a gift as a DVD.
You remember like on a Friday night or something, that was when normally like on the 30th Friday, the newest funny movie that left theaters. It's no longer in theaters, but it'll be out at Blockbuster, and like it's like coming soon, and everyone's just like, ooh, I'm gonna go rent that movie tonight and have a date night or movie night, whatever. And there'd be like 20 copies of the same movie.
Yep.
And it's like you just had to get there and hopefully beat the crowd and get your video, and then hopefully if they're out like next day, hopefully someone returned it, and you're just like, don't be a greedy asshole and just hog that movie. You already watched it, bring it back.
Yeah, you see the little the card with the movie photo, and you see like, oh, they're all gone.
Yep.
And you go to like that last ditch hope at the counter, like, hey man,
did anyone return
anybody
it
bring this back? And then they look in the bin and they're like,
sorry, man.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
Or you're like, yeah, you let me know.
Remember,
build relationships with them and say, hey, will you give me a call?
Exactly.
Like, when you had like a landline that they had to call, like, hey, this is Jimmy at Blockbuster. Hey, I got that.
I remember when it was VHS, and DVDs were like the newest shit.
Oh yeah.
And you didn't have to rewind it. Mm-hmm. That was like, wow. This is the future, man.
There was a summer that my mom had surgery and was like laid up, just recovering. It was a jaw surgery, so she's sitting in the chair, sipping through a straw, whatever it was, and it was a big deal because I didn't even have a color TV till I was like third grade. Like, then it would get cable later on.
We had a dial one that you had to turn.
Yes, that was. We went to like JCPenney or Sears or something like that, and it was this piece of wood with the thing. Like, it was a big deal to get a TV, you know, like, oh, wow. And, but my dad got cable at this apartment we lived in or whatever, and we had HBO, and they just bought a bunches of blank VHS tapes, and that was like the thing, setting the timer on the VHS and recording everything that was on HBO. Like, I think we sold them at a garage sale or something later on, but like, we had just
quiet, cops are listening.
Movies. Well, we never charged anybody to come to our house and see it, so like, I think the FBI would be.
I remember
clear.
My stepdad, like, my mom started dating him or whatever when I was in first grade, and when we moved into his house or something, I was in like second or third grade or something, and I remember he had a VHS rewinding machine that
yeah,
like, and I was
Please
just
be
thinking
kind,
like,
rewind.
I was like, whoa, this shit is pretty cool. Like, you know, you don't even have to sit here because it took a half hour to rewind a VHS on your you know, player, on the VHS player, but this thing was like supercharged. You put it in there and just shut the lid, and it was like woo, and just like rewound it super fast, and I was like, damn.
How old are you?
Me?
Yeah.
32.
How do you? This seems like I'm 45. Like, I feel like you shouldn't remember these things. I feel like that was like after your time.
I'm an old soul, I guess.
I guess. Where did you grow up though?
I grew up in Virginia Beach, and then Maryland, and Ohio briefly.
Oh, that was a problem. Ohio is probably like way behind the times.
Well, this was in Virginia
Oh,
when
okay.
all this happened. And and then I got older in Virginia and Maryland, and then I moved to Ohio in high school, and it was back in time. And then I went back in time. So, yeah.
So did you grow up in a military family, or where did the impulse to go into the military come from?
There was no impulse for me to go into the military.
Oh, that's what was happening?
No. Well, I guess actually it was on impulse, but there was no plan for me to go in the military. But yeah, my mom and dad and my stepdad were all in the Navy. And yeah, my dad was in for 10 years. My mom was in for 8 years. My stepdad was in for 17 years. And and yeah, they all kind of encouraged me to join the military and everything, and I was just like, nah, that's not for me. You know, I want nothing to do with the military. And actually, I wanted to be a gym teacher. That was like my first.
No, did you want to be a gym teacher because you were super passionate about health, or because you're like, if I got to do something, that seems to be the easiest
recess
teaching gig.
Was like my favorite class, you know, and I loved competition. I loved competing and stuff, and in gym class, you know, like I hated school, hated everything about school except for socialization and recess. And gym class was always, you know, a lot of fun for me, and it was like we were always getting to do something different. And my dad's sister and brother, so my uncle and aunt, they're both teachers. And they were always, you know, encouraging me to try to go to school or something, or be, you know, and when I told them, like, I'd like to be, you know, a gym teacher, and they were like, oh, yeah, that's wonderful, blah, blah, blah. And then, but then as I got older, then I realized, oh, I have to go to college to be a gym teacher, you know, and I was like, well, that's not happening, because I hate
They don't have recess in college.
No. So, so yeah, I was like, well, you know, I don't know what I want to be. You know, maybe I'll do construction or something, because I roofed for a long time. I started roofing when I was 15 in Ohio, and it was really hard work. I was a shingle bitch, you know, like just really hot, dirty, you know, hard labor work. And I was on a roofing crew, and I was by far the youngest guy on the crew. Everyone there was, you know, late 30s, 40 years old, you know, and I was 15. And they were just you know, good old boy type fun guys, really, really fun crew. And we had this one dude named Steve Miner, and he would like relentlessly and brutally make fun of me and like everyone, not just me, but right. I was definitely the main target. And I mean, he was just so fucking funny too. I mean, like, even though I was the brunt of the jokes and like, you know, the target most of the time, you know, I have such a fucked up sense of humor and like dark humor and everything that, you know, like I would be like, this motherfucker, you know, but I just, at the same time, I'm chuckling and like laughing, you know, and cause I'm like, if it was someone else, I'd be laughing my ass off, and everyone else is laughing. And I just have a good sense of humor, you know? So, I mean, and he was so witty, and just, there was no line he would not cross. And I thought it was hilarious. And he was like a music Yoda, like when it came to classic rock. And up until that point in my life, I had always listened to rap music. Like from a very early age, I just liked rap. I liked the beat of it and everything. And I didn't really even listen to the lyrics half the time, you know. 50 Cent was like one of my role models growing up. And I listened to his lyrics, but I really didn't understand.
Now you're dating yourself.
I didn't understand half of them, you know, but no, he really was like one of my fucking role models. Like, it's weird, man. I tell people, like, because I've been asked that, like, who are your role models? And I'm like, growing up, I mean, who are my role models? I would say 50 Cent, Bob Ross,
the painter guy?
Yeah. Steve Irwin and Jesus, maybe. Like
Jesus gets a fourth place.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like that. I'm a violent hippie. I'm a weird individual, you know.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I liked rap growing up my whole life. Eminem, 50 Cent, all these guys, and DMX, RIP. Yeah. But then when I got on that crew, they only listened to like classic rock, and you know, like I said, this was what year was this? This was like 2005 or something like that. And so, like I said, they were all like in their late 30s, 40, and or maybe they were in the mid 30s. I don't even know, but they all listened to classic rock, and they were like constantly giving me shit because they'd be like, you know, I knew some of the popular songs, obviously. I knew of them. I didn't know who sang them. I didn't know whatever. And they'd be like, Mitch, who sings this? And I'm like, I don't know. And he'd just fucking rip me a new one, you know, like, you stupid asshole. And but I ended up really starting to enjoy classic rock because I was listening to all these songs all the time, and it's good music, you know, so... Yeah. Had a great time with those guys, and I really enjoyed the work. It was, you know, 10-hour days, hot as fuck, dirty, lifting heavy-ass 80-pound bundles of shingles, going up and down ladders, and I was the shingle bitch, you know, so anything like hard or shitty or whatever, they just told me to do, and I was making $10 an hour under the table, you know, so as a 15-year-old, that was fucking great money, you know, and working 10 hours a day, making $100 a day. I was just like, I don't give a fuck. Hell yeah, let's do it. And that job, like being a roofer, you know, I did that for like 3.5 years, and with that same crew. And like I said, the work itself, I guess, was really shitty work, but I enjoyed it so much just because of the group of guys I was with. They were so fun, and it was a good environment, and you know, you just feel really good at the end of a hard day's work. You just feel like, you know, you earned it, you know, you earned your rest, you whatever. So yeah. So
your family has this military background in the Navy. You're doing this, you don't want to go to college, and so was it a last minute thing, or is it
so again, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, because that was in Ohio where I was roofing. I fucking hated Ohio.
Hey, everybody does. Everybody should.
And Michigan.
No. I'm starting to hate Michigan, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just, you know, I was from the East Coast on the beach and stuff, and in Ohio, it's just totally different world. Same as here. And it was a very small town kind of, small town mindset mentality. When I was in Maryland, my high school had 3,500 kids in it from 9 to 12. And, and then when I went to Ohio, it was K through 12 and
350.
It was like a couple hundred people. And it was just, and their families had, all their dads went to school with each other. And it's just, they've been in this little small town cesspool for fucking decades, and everybody knows everybody. And I came there in 10th grade. So, and it was just that small town mindset. I fucking wanted nothing to do with it. I just wanted to get the fuck out of there. But, so I had just graduated high school. I knew I wasn't going to go to college because I barely made it through fucking high school. Not because I was dumb. I just didn't give a fuck. I literally did zero homework. I was like, there's no way. I already have to be here for a chunk of my time. Like, I'm forced to be here. There's no fucking way I'm doing anything.
You could be making $10 an hour.
But yeah, I'm going to go play in the dirty shingles for $10 an hour. Right. I'd do that all fucking day rather than write a paragraph, or spend 1 minute doing homework or anything beyond this. So I realized that school was not for me. And I was fine with doing hard labor or something, or, learning a trade or whatever. But I was also working at my mom and my stepdad's convenience store. They had like a deli gas station type thing, and one day a Navy recruiter just came in there, and he was like, hey, you want to join the Navy? And I was like, fuck it, why not? Sure. I don't know what I want to do. I want to get the fuck out of here, and maybe it'll be a cool opportunity, and just who knows where it'll go from there. And he's like, oh, well, you look like you're in good shape. You want to be a Navy SEAL? I'm like,
don't they say that? Do they say that to everybody though, to get them motivated?
I mean,
you want to be a Navy SEAL kid? Yes.
I think, I think they get like bonuses or something maybe, or I know recruiters, they try to get so many X amount of billets per thing. And I think like, it's like it looks good for them to bring in or find like SEAL candidates or spec ops candidates and stuff, and get them, sworn in and like go, So I'm sure they say that to everyone who's in shape, you know, and, but I didn't know shit about it. And I was just like, I was just bored and didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was just like, yeah, sure. Why not? Like, I was like, aren't those like the sneaky guys? Because that's the only thing I knew about SEALs was I remembered seeing a commercial it was the Footprints one where it's like a beach and like the waves are crashing, and then the cloud goes over the moon, and then like it gets dark, and then the cloud like passes, and there's footprints like coming out of the water.
I don't have a recollection of this, but yes.
Well, that's like a famous like commercial for the SEALs, and that was the only thing I really knew about them. I was like, so they're like sneaky dudes or something. And my mom was like, no, they're like the rock stars of the military. Like if I could see you in the military, like I would see you being a SEAL. And I was like, okay, sign me up. Let's do it. And had no idea I had to go to BUDS, none of that.
How fast after, do they call it basic, or that's an Army term, right? Basic training. So what do they call it for Navy?
ROTC, recruit, or it's like recruit something training centers. I don't know. Something. Yeah, it's like boot camp.
Boot camp. Yeah, that's it. I'm saying it's like, because I know like people get mad when I say like, oh, you went to basic training. I was like, oh, they're Marine, and they're like, no, I didn't go to basic training. I went,
yeah, just shut the fuck up.
But so how fast after whatever that boot camp experience is, the 8 weeks or whatever, did you move into the next thing for going to BUDS?
So I ended up going. I had to get like I had to do the PST to like get a contract to go to BUDS, and my dive motivator, like the guy the SEAL that basically gives you the test and signs off on you getting a contract to go to BUDS. I met him, and he taught me how to do the combat side stroke, because that's the swim you have to do in order to do on the test, or breaststroke. And I'd swam, not like competitively or anything, but I knew how to swim growing up. I played in pools and stuff and swam at the beach and shit, but nothing ever, again, competitive. I'd never run further than a mile. Yeah. I played sports. I was competitive, played football, basketball, lacrosse, baseball, dodgeball. That was my big one.
Competitive dodgeball?
Oh, yeah.
Or gym dodgeball?
Big time competitive dodgeball.
Like teams?
Yes.
With jerseys and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Big checks like that.
Really?
Yeah.
On the ESPN The Ocho? Dodgeball?
Traveling. The moment we're allowed to have fucking crowds and do events, I'm doing my own dodgeball tournament with $20,000 of prize money.
This sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And that guy, Steve Minert, that I told you that just destroyed me and just ruthlessly made fun of me.
Yeah.
Hilarious guy. I'm going to get him to commentate.
Oh, man. This sounds like a good time.
It's going to be amazing. I can't fucking wait. I'm so excited. Yeah.
So you learn how to swim, or this guy shows you this combat swim.
Yeah, he taught me he taught me how to do the combat side stroke, and my PST is the next day. So I was like, all right, figure it out. And was able to get the contract, and ended up going to Buds and or boot camp, and did the boot camp, which I was so annoyed because at that point when I learned I had to go to Buds, I told my dad, actually, I called him and I was like, because my dad was in the Navy, like I said, for 10 years. He was a combat cameraman, and he was attached with the SEAL teams. We had worked with Dev Group briefly and SEAL Team 8. And so he knew all about it, and he was always trying to get me to join the military. And I was just like, no, I'm not interested. No, thanks. So he'd kind of just given up or whatever. And then I called him and I was like, hey, I'm joining the Navy. I'm going to be a SEAL. And he's like, what? He's like, do you have any idea what you're getting into? And I was like,
I think I'm going to be sneaky.
Really.
And swim around.
He's like, whatever, I'm going to do it. And he's like, and then he ordered the Buds documentary, the 234, Buds Class 234 Discovery Channel documentary. Yep. And I watched that with him. And I was just like, oh, fuck.
I would wonder, does that motivate you? Hell yeah, I want to do that. Or is oh, man.
No, it kind of it made me a little bit nervous, but also excited, and also just kind of I was just accepting of it. Well, I already signed up for this. I already said I'm going to do it. I told all my friends and family that, hey, I'm going to go be a Navy SEAL. And, and then I fucking find out I have to go to Buds, and I'm watching this documentary, and they're fucking running 4 miles on the beach in sand in boots and pants. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck? I had known of people running marathons and stuff, but I'd never met anyone that did, you know, I don't know. I was just young and dumb, and very inexperienced with that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And watching that documentary, I was just like, dude, this is going to suck. But
it seems like it.
But my dad, when we got done watching it, he was like, so you think you got what it takes? And I was like, hell yeah. No problem. But,
Have you seen me carry shingles up and down a ladder?
Well, I mean, I was used to hard work, you know what I mean? Right. And I was super competitive always, growing up. So there wasn't really a challenge that I'd ever really backed down from, and I had confidence in myself. I was very, very lucky and fortunate, and I didn't realize it until later on in life that how important your upbringing is, and your family and everything, and the impact from early on, in your childhood, how that carries over to you growing up and affects everything. And I was very fortunate. My mom and dad were real supportive of me. They were always encouraged me to be competitive and push myself and work hard and everything. So I always did. I always played sports growing up. I was always competitive and had confidence from competing, confidence from trying things and being successful, because I was always like a pretty decent athlete growing up, you know, and I like I said, the competition really just pushed me to push myself, and I enjoyed winning, you know, like when we went and did something, that feeling of stepping up, even if it was like a fucking 40-yard dash, like I'm putting everything I have into this because I want to win. And it was just fun, you know, for me. So, and that gave me confidence, you know, and so seeing this challenge, I was just like, whoa, this is a different level, you know, but I think I can do it, you know, why not? Like, other people are doing it. It's not impossible. So, yeah, then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go do it. And then I got so fixated on, particularly Hell Week, you know, that I was just like, nothing else really matters. Like, I really want to do Hell Week and see if I can do it, because that's like the thing, you know, in that documentary, the main part
Pretty
of it
much
is
what
on
it is.
Hell Week.
Yeah.
You know, Hell Week is the most fucking insane challenge there is. And so I got really fixated on Hell Week, and I was irritated that I even had to go to boot camp, because I'm like, this isn't what I'm here for. I'm here to go to Buds and like go to Hell Week. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even becoming a Navy SEAL anymore at that point. I was so fixated on Hell Week because that was the big chopping block. So I went to boot camp, and that was fucking super annoying. You know, it was just an annoying 8 weeks. It was not very hard. It was just, you know, it's just dumb. And you know, we're making our beds over and over. We're, you know, stamping fucking socks with our name, and like if it's wrong, you know, you get yelled at, and you gotta, you know, just stand at attention, which for me was awful, because like I have ADD and I'm fidgety, and like I like to move. I don't like to just sit here and stand still and do nothing. And you know, all of it was just super dumb to me. I'm like, what a waste of fucking time.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm watching kids around me just crumble, like, over the dumbest shit. And I'm just laughing my ass off on the inside, because I'm like, there are people legitimately losing their fucking minds, like having mental breakdowns over someone yelling at them, and them like having to, or being told you're a fucking failure or a loser because you made your bed wrong or something. And I was just so irritated by all of it, because I'm just like, you were just in my way of going to Hell Week, you know? So this is like something I've got to get done and do. So eventually I got done and went to Buds, and again, that was... to me, it was like, no matter what we're doing, this isn't Hell Week yet. This isn't Hell Week yet. So I don't care how hard whatever we're doing is, it's not Hell Week. So I'm not, there's no way I'm going to quit. You know, that's how I had it in my mind. Like, I was like, I really seriously would rather die than quit. And like, you know, call all my friends and family, tell my dad and my mom, hey, you know, this was just too hard for me. I quit. Like, yeah. I would rather die than be a pussy. And yeah, and then Hell Week came, and you know, I remember just being so fucking like, holy shit, it's really here, it's happening. Like, I can't believe like this is what I've been, you know, hyper focused on for months now. And I remember just being super nervous in the tents. And because you're all in these tents before breakout starts, or Hell Week starts. They call it breakout. That's when they fucking come in, and you know, just at a random time they'll come in and just like throw a sim grenade and you know, start shooting machine guns in the air and stuff. And it's like, this is welcome to hell, you know. And you know, it's just. But I remember just being in there, just being like super nervous, like it was gonna start. And there definitely were other people nervous as fuck, because they quit just on the anxiety of it, the anticipation of it coming. I mean, because when you're in buds, you see other classes go before you, right? And and not that buds itself is a picnic by any means. Like, people break their legs every day. Like, fucking, there's serious injuries that happen. It's brutal, and especially in Hell Week, it's if you guys don't know what Hell Week is, it's 5.5 days. You start on Sunday afternoon and you go till the following Friday afternoon, and you get a 1 hour nap, or I'm sorry, you get a 2 hour nap on Wednesday and a 1 hour nap on Thursday. And that's just the bare minimum to keep you from getting brain damage from being awake that long. And
so from Sunday afternoon at start, you're not getting any sleep until Wednesday.
Wednesday afternoon, you get a 2 hour nap.
Wow.
And then a 1 hour nap the next day on Thursday. And then you go and then you continue till Friday afternoon.
Does that nap feel like the longest sleep that you've ever had, or does it feel way short?
No. So I'll get to it.
Okay.
So we're in the tents, and and I was so fucking nervous about Hell Week starting, this and that. And I remember talking to my dad, and I was like, hey Dad, Hell Week's, gonna start Hell Week today. And he's just like, all right, you can do this. I don't want to hear from you till next Friday. Or I don't want to hear from you till Friday. And then I just want you to call me and say, Dad, I made it. And I was like, all right. And, just sitting around waiting. And then all of a sudden, and I'm expecting, I don't know what to expect. It's just this thing that's been built up. Like, I've built it up so unimaginable in my head. And, because that's hard to imagine, going that long without sleep, and you're fucking freezing cold, soaking wet, sandy, and doing boats on heads, which is super hard, and log PT, telephone poles, just lunges for 3 hours, and it's just, you run over 100 miles. It's intense,
Sounds intense. Is there, I know obviously you're wearing the shirt, mindset is everything, right? So is there people that enter into that experience that they're, no matter how mentally resilient they are, their bodies just cannot do it? They have not been physically prepared enough.
Definitely. There's people that,
because I can't imagine doing lunges for 3 hours in my boxers, let alone holding a telephone pole with other people.
Wet, sandy. Yeah. And I mean, you get so fucking chafed and everything from being wet and sandy, and you're doing that with that big telephone pole. You're wet and sandy, so that's just grinding on you. I mean, you get chafed everywhere. Your forearms bleed, your wrists bleed, your head. Everyone gets a bald spot on their head, just getting rubbed raw from the boats and the sand and everything. And yeah, people break their legs. My friend Taylor Canfield, he went through, broke both of his legs during Hell Week and still finished. And my friend Jeff Gum, he went
finished that week, not finished another go through.
No, finished that one. Yeah.
Wow.
And then went to medical and was like, my legs hurt really, really bad, and they're broken. So, and then my friend Jeff Gum, he went through and made it to Tuesday or something of Hell Week, and he just physically just couldn't go anymore, and he was just I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me or whatever. And then it turned out he had rhabdo and rhabdomyolysis, so his blood was basically toxic. And then he and he was still pushing to go, he didn't want to quit, and then it turned out he had rhabdomyolysis, and then got to go through again without rhabdo. He's like, man, it's so much easier, this time.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, I mean, guys get fucking, their bodies just get pushed to the absolute limit, and so it doesn't matter if you don't want to quit. Sometimes your body just fails you. And there's a difference, some guys are, I don't want to quit. Well, there's also a refusal to train. Like when you just don't go, it's like you might not want to say the words, but your actions are quitting, you know? So there's plenty of that too. So yeah, anyway, like we start Hell Week, all of a sudden the fucking instructors come and they're shooting off the guns and shit, and I'm just like, oh fuck, here it goes, we're starting, I don't know what to do. And like there's people running to the bell, just again, right as soon as we start, just the anxiety, like people quitting. I mean, you lose tons of people, they quit all the time. And but for me, I had this thing built up so much, I didn't know what the hell was going to happen. I didn't know if Satan was going to fucking pop out of the ground, just be like, let's go, lead log PT, you know, and fucking, I just didn't know what to expect. And all of a sudden I'm, you know, they hit the surf, I'm running the surf, and, you know, and there's all these machine guns going off and flash grenades, and, you know, I'm running around and they're making us do workouts on the grinder and you know, push-ups and flutter kicks and spraying us with hoses and bullhorns and screaming at us, and it's all chaos and stuff. And I'm just like looking around though, and I'm like, oh, these are the same instructors that have been beating the shit out of us for 3 weeks or a month, you know?
Yeah.
Like, okay. So Hell Week is basically the same thing we've been doing. It's just, you just don't get to sleep. And it's just, you know, it's just going to keep going until it's done.
It's going to suck until I can sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. But like everything here sucks. Like every event sucks, like until it's done.
Yeah.
And then it's done, you know, like every log PT sucked, you know, it's 3 hours long of fucking, you know, just a suck fest. But then it finishes, you know, and it's over. And then it's whatever. Pain is temporary. You know, so then and then once I realized that, like in the first few minutes, literally, I was just like, holy shit. Like, I'm so dumb. I had this built up, like, you know, so crazy in my head. And I was like, this is the same shit we've been doing the whole time. Like, oh, fuck. I'm going to make it, you know? Yeah. And I was just like, holy shit. Like, I'm going to make it through this. And I just could not fucking stop smiling the rest of the week. I mean, it was the most fun week of my life. I loved it. Fucking loved it. And absolutely crushed it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What I wonder, because of where you're at now and what you're doing, is I feel like listening to you had a certain particular sort of like mindset going into it. Maybe it wasn't as fully developed or, you know, applied in the same way that you're applying it now, but I feel like you growing up, the way that you were raised, all the things that you're talking about kind of like brought you to that point. Do you feel like there are people who can enter into that experience that maybe didn't have that mindset, but they gain the right mindset in the process? Like,
that would be like,
I'm trying to like,
yeah, it'd be a steep
I feel like
learning
in
curve.
The cop world,
that'd be a real steep learning curve, especially at that, because Buds is a very unique environment. It's designed to be, you know, the hardest training on the planet, physically, mentally, emotionally. You know, they attack you from all sides. Like, and it's not only that, you also have to perform and improve. Every week you have to improve your times, like your run times, your swim times, your obstacle course times. All of those have to improve every week, or else you fail. And so they beat the shit out of you the whole time. They barely let you sleep. Like, they'll come in the middle of the night, you know, and fucking with bullhorns and get your ass out of bed, go hit the fucking surf. And, you know, it's 2:00 in the morning. You have a 5:00 run, you know, 4 mile time run that if you fail, you're fucked, you know, and then after that, there's a room inspection that, you know, but now you're getting all wet and sandy, and then you have to go back in your room and get, you know what I mean? Like, you're just designed, you're just not designed to win. It's designed to endure. Yeah. You know, and I think that's a lot of issues that people have sometimes is they go into this with like, especially now with all the social media and shit. I fucking hate. If you're listening to this and you're trying to go to Buds, do not fucking bother messaging me, because you're going to get the same message I give everyone else. Don't be a pussy. Mindset is everything. And that is literally the best fucking advice I can give you. And I'm not, you know, people think I'm being a dick when I say that, but it's true. It's you're not going to win. You're not going to learn something that like gives you an advantage or a heads up. And like that's where maybe I differ from a lot of people, like, you know, and because maybe it's the way my story happened and I went to Buds. Like, I didn't know fucking anything. I didn't know what Buds was, you know? And there's other guys that have wanted to do this their whole life, and they've studied every fucking thing they can. They've read every book they can, like, especially, and then nowadays, like, there's SEALs are accessible because, you know, we have some of us have social medias and, you know, like do podcasts, do this, that, you know, whatever. So they get like as much insight as possible, and they try to prepare mentally for it and like come up with a game plan to try to navigate it as best as they can to like avoid as much pain or whatever as possible. Whereas I had the mentality was just like, this is going to be the hardest shit ever, and I don't give a fuck what they do to me. I already said I'm going to do it, and I'd rather fucking die than not, you know, than be a pussy. And like, that's it. So I don't give a fuck. So that I don't give a fuck mentality set me up for, you know, like, oh, well, whatever. It's hard. I expected it to be hard.
So you transition from your military career and come out. So like on the other side of that, was it easier than sort of like on the front end? You're like, well, I don't know what I want to do. Maybe be a gym teacher. Maybe that I don't know. End up in the military. On the other side, was there clarity coming out of, okay, now I know what I want to do when I separate from this and move back into normal civilian life? Or was there another period of, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I could be a gym teacher again? Or like what was the thought process there?
No, definitely not. I still feel the same about school. I still feel the same way about school. I don't read or write or anything. The most reading I do is on social media. The most writing I do is on social media. And I don't read books. I listen to audiobooks every once in a while. But very rarely do I even do that anymore. But yeah, when I was leaving the Navy, I actually didn't plan on leaving the Navy, because once I was in and was a SEAL and everything, I actually did enjoy it. And I planned on staying in for 20 and just retiring and getting a pension and stuff. And I joined the Navy at 18, so I'd be retired by 38. And once I was in the SEAL teams and stuff, my dad, would talk to me about it. He's like, man, just keep in, stay in there, get, do your 20, like, cause I got out at 10 and 20 years came by so fast. And, like I would have already been retired and had a pension and stuff. And, he's like, I'm telling you, just stay in, it'll go by quick. And I was like, yeah, I mean, sounds good, and yeah, it's a good career. It's decent money, got, a lot of benefits and everything. I was like, so I enjoy the job too. I'm not looking to do anything else. I didn't plan on making a different career. And I just really enjoyed fighting. And, I was training jiu-jitsu as well, and started competing in jiu-jitsu, and started competing in MMA as well, just for fun. I've always enjoyed fighting. I'm super competitive. I've always enjoyed it, and being a SEAL, I felt like I was a warrior, and like the warrior lifestyle just included fucking physical combat, or like just wrestling around and like aggressive type shit, like man shit, and I started competing in jiu-jitsu and MMA and really enjoyed it, and got, again, was just doing it for fun, no intentions of anything. Started winning a shitload of jiu-jitsu tournaments, and, started winning all my MMA fights, became the champion of the league pretty quickly. And then, fast forward a little bit, I ended up becoming a two division champion, 170 and 185 at the same time. I was ranked number 1 on the East Coast in both weight classes, and was getting in looks from a lot of different people, and invited out to train with the UFC guys, like at Black House. I was training with Anderson Silva, Lyoto Machida, Brian Ortega, Tony Ferguson, all these guys. Like, and I'm like, holy fuck, I've watched these guys on TV. You know what I mean? Like, this is nuts. And I always looked at the people in the UFC like, like they were that was like the NFL of fighting,
right.
And then, like, for me, I always kind of looked at the people in the NFL, the NBA and stuff like that. Like, these guys they're just specimens. They're not real, like, they're not regular humans. There's something different about them, and it's just so rare. It's like winning the lottery type shit. And then, so I just kind of put them on a pedestal almost. Like, these aren't normal people. This isn't obtainable. Yeah. And then, and then all of a sudden I'm training and stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, these are just normal people that have just continued to hone their craft and practice or whatever, and put in the time and the work and stuff. And, it kind of just dawned on me, and I'm just like, man, maybe I could do this, if I wanted to or whatever. And I just didn't really like think I was like, oh, that's special, and they're looking at me like, dude, you're a Navy SEAL. Like, and I'm just like, yeah, but you fight in the UFC, like, that's crazy. And then it just kind of was like, oh yeah, I guess I could do this if I wanted to, and then I got a little more involved with the martial arts and stuff, and started to gain some popularity and everything, and sponsors, and I didn't have any social media at the time because of the SEAL teams. And so I started an Instagram page just to kind of a way to give back to my sponsors that, were giving me like some money to rep their stuff or whatever. And then, I would say my personality is definitely different than a lot of Navy SEALs. And again, it's probably because I never had any intentions of being a Navy SEAL, and a lot of those guys that are Navy SEALs have wanted to be a Navy SEAL their entire life, and that, they've been training for this their entire life. They've been obsessed with, a certain type of probably role models that, influenced the way they are and shaped who they are and everything. So there's a lot of the same types of people, and I was very different, and I have always enjoyed making people laugh. Like, I've always loved, like, kind of just being like the center of attention. I used to fucking, sing on tables and stuff, and my mom, like, always encouraged me, and, like, growing up and stuff, I enjoyed making comedy skits with my brothers and making people laugh and stuff like that, so I always had kind of a more loud, boisterous personality, and then obviously in the SEALs that's not super common. It's more quiet, like, whatever. But so when I got my social media, I started doing like comedy skits and stuff like that, because I just thought they were fun and whatever. Started gaining popularity on social media between that and my fighting and fitness. I got posted for workout videos, stuff like that. And if you knew, like, people, especially in Virginia Beach, like, it's such a big military town. It's the home of the fucking SEAL teams. So there's SEALs everywhere. I mean, we can spot each other from a mile away. And if anyone who's involved with our community can spot you from a mile away, you essentially do wear a uniform outside of work. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you got your watch on, your sunglasses, your sleeve tattoo. Okay, yeah, got it. You know what I mean? And there's just a confidence and a way that SEALs carry themselves, honestly, that like you can just tell when a fucking lion's in the room, you know? And so people knew, you know, and I have a fucking big bone frog on my chest, and I was fighting in these like big arena, you know, full of thousands of people, and I was always the main event. I was a 10-time champion, you know, so like I gained a lot of popularity from my fighting, and my fighting style was very aggressive. Like I would just go out there and fucking maul people, you know, and so I gained a shitload of popularity with that, and again, didn't intend on leaving the SEAL teams. I just wanted to do it for fun, and you know, I figured maybe I could do both. But then I was running into a lot of issues because that was like social media had never really been a thing in the teams, you know, and it was kind of like frowned upon or whatever. And but I kind of looked at it like, you know, well, why? Who gives a shit? Like, people know that SEAL, we're not, it's not the fucking 80s anymore, you know, 90s. Right. Like, people know about Navy SEALs. It's not a fucking secret. I'm not doing anything. I'm not out here talking about tactics. I'm not fucking writing books. I'm not doing any of this shit. Like, I don't give a fuck that people know I'm a Navy SEAL. Like, right. It's okay. It's a job title. Like, it's not a fucking secret. We trained in Coronado on the fucking beach at the hotel. You know, people over at the Hotel Del Coronado go out and pop fucking popcorn and watch us do rock portage. We literally run across fucking, you know, the Coronado beach with our shirts off. And, you know, it's like you can see the obstacle course from the Silver Strand. Like, from the inception of our training, we're on display. Like, it's not a fucking secret. Like, we run across the road with boats on our heads and stop traffic and scream hoo-yah as we do it. You know, it's like, but don't look at us, we're secret. You know, I just thought it was stupid. And like, we had a movie, Act of Valor, that had just come out, you know, before I even started really fighting. And they promoted that nationwide, globally, that it was filmed with actual Navy SEALs. And those guys were my BUDS instructors. So they really were Navy SEALs, you know? Yeah. And you got all these books and movies out and shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Why are we pretending that, like, we're these quiet professionals and, like, silent, whatever? Like, it's not that anymore. Yeah. It's one thing to talk about tactics and this and that. It's another to have a job title. Yeah. You know, like, we wear an insignia. We have a trident on our chest. What does that mean? It's a symbol that you're a Navy SEAL. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like, so I just didn't understand what the fucking problem was. Yeah. And you know, and I was facing like half the guys kind of understood that and got it. Half of them were fucking like, absolutely not. No social media, no limelight, you know, whatever. Yeah. Quiet professional, da da da. And it's like, okay, whatever. You know, so I got to the point where I was really enjoying the fighting stuff, and I kind of wanted to see where I could go with it. And it pissed me off that I had to choose, basically, like, you know, because I didn't want to get out of the SEAL teams. I enjoyed that. And I was like, well, you know, we've got leapfrogs. We've got, you know, other things that these guys are still active duty, but they're doing a thing. Why don't you use me as a recruiting tool or something, you know? And it was such a pain in the ass because half of the head shed, you know, would be on board with it and supportive of it, and the other half wouldn't be. And it was like whoever at the time was my current boss, that was the flavor. Yeah. You know, and I had some cool opportunities come up that got, you know, that I wasn't allowed to take part in or whatever, and it fucking just pissed me off. And I was like, you know what, like, I'm just at a point where I'm 10 years in, like, I need to either pursue this and you know, go this route with fighting, and at the time, like, I had started to understand and realize the potential of, or the power of, social media. And like, and this was, you know, I had gained not that many followers, but to me at the time it was crazy, like 5,000 followers. And I had strangers reaching out to me that wanted to buy my fight shirts, my walkout shirts in support of me. And I'm just like, what the fuck? You don't even know me. Like, you want to buy a t-shirt with my name on it? That's crazy, you know? And, but like, I realized like, man, I could just keep doing what I'm doing and grow my audience and do whatever I want to do, you know, and be my own boss and not, you know. And I was working for other brands, like seal brands, like Bottle Breacher and, you know, these other companies and they would pay me to promote their stuff, and, you know, and I could come up with like funny skits or, you know, model their shirts and do this and that. And, you know, I was getting little chunks of money here and there to do this stuff. And it was kind of fun. And it was like my own creative outlet, you know? And then I had all these people writing me, telling me, you know, man, following you has been super motivational. And I was just being myself, completely honest and transparent, and just, you know, just putting my thoughts out there. And if you like them, cool. If not, get the fuck out of here. I don't care. I don't need or want your support. If you don't like me or what I'm about, then fuck off. Bye. But the people that, you know, that acts as a filter though. When you do that, you know, you see, like, don't ever be afraid to be the real you, because you never know who will like the real you, you know? And those are people you don't have to convince or put on a fucking facade for or anything, you know, just be you. And you'll attract your real supporters. So that's what I did. And, you know, I had people writing me all the time telling me like, hey, you're, you know, really helping me from A to Z. I mean, I had fucking people tell me, you know, from weight loss to working out to my outlook on this or that. Or, you know, I've had fucking several people write me saying they were going to kill themselves and didn't, because of my message or my perspective or whatever, like, got through to them somehow. And, you know, and it was just like, wow, this is fucking insane. Like, I never imagined being able to reach so many people. I don't even know 5,000 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But yet those 5,000 people feel like they know you,
right?
And
it's
level.
And it's just a ripple effect, and like, and it's probably like these are a small percentage that are feeling the urge to reach out to me and tell me this stuff. How many of them am I affecting that won't even say anything or whatever, you know? So it was kind of like, man, this is kind of, it's kind of important. And I was, or not kind of important, but like, I just felt like I'm making a difference, you know, in at least some people's lives. And I don't feel like I'm affecting anyone's life otherwise. Like, there's nothing. If you don't like what I'm talking about, just don't listen to me.
You think that'd be super simple on social
you know?
media?
But like, it's like but if what I'm saying is helpful to you, then cool. Like, that's really neat. You know, it's interesting. Like, and being in the SEAL teams, you know, before I had social media and doing any of this, like, maybe I helped some people that knew me directly and benefited somehow from our friendship or relationship or whatever. But this was like a whole nother level of fulfillment that, like, I felt like, wow, I'm helping people for the first time. Like, as a Navy SEAL, I was not, that was a selfish job. It was a selfish career. It was, you know, I understand it's a necessary role and stuff, but it was, you know, it's not a super helpful position, honestly. Like, I mean, maybe helpful to the country and to an extent. And, you know, you need those guys ready to do bad shit when necessary, you know, to the right people, even though, honestly, I believe all the wars we're in are fucking 100% fraudulent bullshit and totally, you know, driven by corrupt politicians, and, you know, they're just using us as pawns. And don't give a fuck what the repercussions are, because it's not going to be them on the battlefield, and it's not going to be their families that are ripped apart when you lose someone. And and it's also not the Afghans and Iraqis and whoever else that we're fucking over there slaughtering, and they all have families too. They all have lives, and it's like you get conditioned to kind of just think these are just fucking terrorists, everyone's a terrorist, and you're doing a good thing, and but kind of just stepping back, when you kind of pull yourself out of that and step back and kind of look at the bigger picture and kind of just look around all this shit, and you see the truth of these fucking corrupt politicians, whatever. But so the point of all that is the job is, you're not really helping a lot of people. And then for the first time, I felt like I was really helping a lot of people, and that felt better to me and more important. So I was like, you know what, I've done the Navy SEAL thing for 10 years. And I got to also give back to the SEAL teams, I felt, with my combatives course. And, I got to help teach some really valuable, potentially life-saving skills to guys before I left, and that was kind of the most rewarding thing for me as a SEAL, was to give back some of my knowledge and skill set to help the guys that are going to stay in and going to continue to be in harm's way, and potentially, that skill set would help save their lives potentially, and that was rewarding to me as well. So I've always just realized the most fulfilling thing to me has been helping people in some way. So then I was like, all right, I'm going to get out and I'm going to do this and continue to just do what I'm doing on social media. And I started selling t-shirts and stuff, and that went well. And, I never intended on starting a business or anything, but I've always kind of had an entrepreneur mindset as well. I started cutting grass in fucking 5th grade, just going door to door. I would go to this neighborhood that was a townhouse neighborhood, and they had yards, small yards right next door to each other. And I would just go up there with a mower, fifth grader, hey, can I cut your grass for $10? And they're like, yeah. It was sweet. And just cut the grass, $10, fucking, next house.
Better than $10 an hour, maybe.
Oh, hell yeah. Sometimes, and it just felt so cool to earn money like that, and I got $10 a week for allowance for picking up dog shit and doing the dishes and making sure the house was tidy when my dad got home. And I just saved all my money all the time. I saved up birthday money, Christmas money, whatever. I would always just save up money, and I loved when the fucking ice cream truck would come by. I would pay for all my friends to get ice cream. And I felt like a total pimp, just a total boss. The ice cream truck comes by, and I'm like, get whatever you want, guys. There'd be 10 of us out there playing basketball out in front of my house, because we played basketball all the fucking time after school. We would just play outside all the time. This was before video games and shit. We're an obsession and fucking Fortnite and TikTok bullshit. And, so we were outside playing basketball until the sun went down, and we even had a glow-in-the-dark basketball, so epic. We were out there all the time. And the ice cream truck would come around, and I'd be like, get whatever you want, guys.
They're
$1 a piece, so 10 of my friends, that's 1 yard. I cut fucking nine yesterday. Get whatever you want. I don't have bills. So I've always enjoyed earning money and being able to give it back. I was an ice cream philanthropist when I was in 5th grade, and then now the more I realize that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a philanthropist.
What I wonder in all that is, so if you want to be a philanthropist, obviously I think that's a It's certainly like a posture that we have. It's not an afterthought for a true philanthropist, right? It's not like I better give something, I should give something because I've made money, but to really want to give back, I think is a character issue. So like someone wants you have that, and you say like, I want to give back. I want to be a philanthropist when I grow up. But obviously, like, you start selling T-shirts, and then that develops a little bit into massive and the supplement side of things, right? So what was this progression for you from, holy shit, man, someone wants to buy a T-shirt, and kind of that progress to get where you're at now?
Yeah. Well, so like selling the T-shirts, that was cool to me. Just seeing people support me, like wanting to wear my fight shirts and stuff that said Smashing Frog on them, and my name on the back, and like it was just like this cool feeling of like support, and like everybody likes feeling liked and supported, and and then the fact that like people wanted to buy these and wear them and everything, and they'd post them on social media and tag me, and I'm like, holy shit, that person is like fucking like happy to like support me and like wear my stuff. That's super cool. And it just like it gave me a good feeling, and I've always been like a T-shirt snob my whole life. Like I love T-shirts, and I always wore cool design T-shirts. Like I'd go on hunts, looking for a funny design or a cool design or whatever. Like I always wanted my shirts to like kind of make a statement. And so when I made those and I saw these people wearing them and stuff, and it just gave me that cool feeling, and I was like, but my original fight shirt is a big fucking green frog, that's like smashing down on something, and it's just not a shirt that like people are gonna wear all the time or like every day.
Right. It's a shirt that people like, they love to laugh at it, or like that's awesome, but not like, I don't know if I could pull that off.
Well, it's just like, well, what's that, but like it's not something that you're just gonna wear every day. And and that was like, well, I want to see people wearing my stuff like every day kind of thing. And I was like, well, maybe I could come up with some everyday type, shirts with like maybe motivational or something like that. Because, I was saying mindset is everything on my Instagram, just kind of as like a motivational phrase, and obviously because it's true. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll throw that on a T-shirt, and that's something that like can look like clean, simple, and like people can wear it. And like I'll put them on these really nice, like top of the line T-shirts that are comfortable, like these tri-blend. These are cotton, polyester, and rayon, so they're it's not just that Gildan cotton bullshit.
Right. Like
these are next level tri-blends, so they're comfy, and that was the other thing, because like I'm a T-shirt snob myself, so I wanted to make something that like people would want to wear every day. And so I made those, and I had a couple different designs in my head that I wanted to make. And so I made like a couple different, I started off with like 3 designs or 4 or something, and just tested the waters and just made a couple and threw them out there, and they all sold out right away. And I was like, whoa,
nice.
Okay, let me try that again. And made a couple more, and then they all sold out. And I was just like, and then like, more and more people now were wearing them and posting about them and stuff. And I was like, okay, hold on, I think I'm onto something here, and just started doing that, and made, like, I was like, well, I guess I'm a T-shirt business now, or apparel business, and went from there and just started making more designs. And then that grew into, it went from T-shirts to hats to shorts and hoodies, and and then I just kind of started like turning this all of a sudden into a brand. And then like just kept up with my social media, growing it, and and I realized like, well, the more people that kind of get on board with this, and the brand could grow, and and I could maybe make this like a legitimate brand someday. I don't know. And so I did that, grew it, and it grew pretty quickly. People were really involved. They were happy to support it. Like people who had knew me because I was, doing live streams and stuff, and I was very engaged with my following, and talked to them all the time. I always try to answer messages, and it was just, I was putting in a lot of work, but I enjoyed it. So that's kind of a necessary, I think, I know it is a necessary part of success. There's no fucking way you will be successful without working hard, period. And, kind of the secret to that is doing what you love, or being passionate about or enjoying what you're doing. And to me, like I said, that was like some of the most fulfilling things I've ever experienced was helping people. And that's what my social media was essentially about. And these people that I was helping were also very appreciative and grateful for that. And, in return, they wanted to support what I was doing and buying my t-shirts. And, the fact that I put out shirts with powerful messages on them that were comfortable and, and just who I was, it just turned into this whole thing, and it was started to grow pretty rapidly and became successful. And I had no intention of ever starting a business like that, or starting a brand, really. Even it just kind of happened organically.
Do you think that what impact did SEAL life or experience have into all what you do now with your brand and your purpose, in giving back?
So I kind of I took what I liked from the SEAL teams, and applied it moving forward to my business. And, things I knew what made the SEAL teams successful, things that I could see and could tell, took those factors and applied them. And the other shit that I didn't really like from it, I just left. And that was the really cool part about doing my own thing and being my own boss. Because in the military or any sort of thing like the police or anything, there's certain things where it just is what it is, and you fucking just do it because you're told to. And you don't really get to question why or whatever. You just do as you're told kind of things. And that fucking irritates the shit out of me. And if it doesn't make sense, why do it, and maybe it doesn't make sense to you, but it makes sense to this person, or you just have conflicting views on things. And if they're the fucking boss, too bad. That's how it's going. Yeah. So that was really a nice part about owning my own business and being able to control everything about it, and do the things that I want to do. And like I said, take the tools away that I thought were good things in the SEAL teams and apply them to my business, because obviously the SEAL teams are a very successful, very, elite organization. And excellence is the only acceptable standard. The standards are extremely high, and they don't lower the standards, or they used to not. I don't know if they are now, but
I don't know either. I wouldn't know.
You don't lower the standards to accommodate people. The people raise their standards to accommodate the unit, the team and the organization. And so I just kind of took that approach, with my business. And honestly, I never intended on owning a company. I never intended on any of this shit. And I never went to school for any of it or anything, so I'm just doing what seems to me to be the most logical, best things to do. And it's we all know, I feel like Captain Obvious, because we all know, the customer is always right. Treat your just do everything to the best of your ability. Like, and that's all you can do is like, and there are standards and examples out there. Like, you know, I would say everyone, when they think of Chick-fil-A, thinks of, you know, really friendly service, you know, and good food, obviously too. But like, it's just quality service, really.
Fast drive-through. More
than anything, it's the quality. Their service stands out from any other fast food restaurant. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%.
You know, and that's people, like, you look at Chick-fil-A, it's always a fucking line out the door. And I believe that is why, you know, or that's a huge contributing factor, is when you go there, it's my pleasure, thank you. Oh, you know, oh, you guys forgot my mustard. Oh, here's here's food for a week for your family. You know,
here's a package of mustard seeds.
And it's just like, oh shit, like, and so you never leave there with a bad customer experience. Yeah. You know, and I thought, like, well, that's something that, you know, makes their business successful. You know, why is Amazon super, you know, why do people use Amazon? And why is it successful? Because it's very convenient. They ship shit out with Amazon Prime. It's like it ships the next day or whatever, and people fucking like that, because they don't want, when you buy something online, you don't want it fucking 2 months from now or 2 weeks from now. You want it fucking when the moment you click the button, that's when you want it.
Right.
You know, so like, if that's something that I can control, which, you know, Amazon, like, obviously they're on a different level as far as like different like stations all over the place, but
sure,
there is a such thing as the USPS, the U.S. Postal Service, that fucking can send packages priority shipping, 2-day shipping, or overnight. So there is a way, you know, it's just, are you willing to do it or not? And like, if someone puts in an order, like, fucking fill it that day, right now. Like, and if you're getting, you know, if you're getting so many orders that you can't fulfill them as they come in, like, you know, or, you know, you're obviously getting enough business, hire another fucking person to keep up with it. Like, and I think so many businesses try to scrape and scrounge and save every fucking penny they can. But to me, there's a difference between cost and value. And to me, that customer experience and them getting their fucking package the day they put in the order, it sends out, or the next, you know, if they do it past 4:00 the next day, you know, that value is worth the cost to me.
You feel like that's a mindset issue too, like from a business owner's perspective or an entrepreneur's perspective? Definitely. Is having a scarcity mindset, like, I've got to protect everything 100%. And hold on to it.
And I think it's a greed thing too, you know, like, you know, with my brand, when I was growing massive as a brand, I was like, you know, I'm not fucking Nike, I'm not Adidas, I'm not Ralph Lauren, Polo, I'm not an established brand. No one knows who the fuck I am except my friends, family, and followers, which at the time was 5,000. Like, no one knows who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
But like, and the way I looked at it was, you know, I'm selling these t-shirts and I'm making a profit on it. So if I can sell a shirt, then I can afford to give away some too. Mm-hmm. And it's not necessarily going to, like, yes, that will eat into my profit making, but it is growing the brand, you know. And the thing with apparel, the cool thing about apparel is when someone wears this shirt, they're advertising for me, mm-hmm. you know, like, they're paying to represent and advertise your brand. Like, what the fuck? Like, how is that even?
It's a reverse billboard.
It doesn't even make sense, you know?
You pay to
advertise my brand? Okay, that's cool. And the way I looked at it was like, well, then if I can sell one, then I can afford to give away 3, you know? And now I have 4 people fucking wearing my t-shirts and advertising my brand. And who knows how many will bring, you know, new customers will be brought in, or they'll talk about me, or, hey, you should check this guy out on Instagram, that potentially they will become a customer, you know? So it's kind of long game thinking. Like, you know, all the time I think people just don't see the forest through the trees. You know, they just get hung up on this. Well, I just paid for these 3 shirts, so I can't just give them away because I won't make any money. Well, yeah, but if you break even, you know, or even if you lose a little bit, you now have 4 times the reach in the audience, and who knows where that'll go.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Yep.
So like, that was my mentality. And I did that a lot. I gave away fucking thousands of shirts, but who knows what has come from it.
Right.
And that's, and that was also like, these people don't know me. They don't trust, why they don't have any reason to trust me or my brand or whatever. Like, so if I can get as big of reach or whatever, as possible, that's a good thing. And then over time, I'll have to kind of prove myself to them and earn their trust as a brand and or whatever, you know what I mean? So that's what I did, and the brand, it worked very well, grew quickly, and just playing the long game, And then same with supplements, at that point, so the like Chick-fil-A has the best customer service, Amazon has the fastest shipping times, and it's like everybody loves quality shit. Like, you don't want to get something, just me as a customer, and like that's the other thing is like me as a customer, what has happened to me as a customer, my customer experience that I've liked and disliked, and I try to avoid all of the dislikes and keep all of the things I like, So like I said, I don't think it's like rocket science. I feel like Captain fucking Obvious, but it's not always. It requires a ton of effort to do the right thing, and and then again, kind of having that belief in yourself, maybe to plant the seeds out there, and then the patience to have that delayed or satisfaction, or
it seems like
delayed gratitude,
my
whatever.
experience on the business side of things too, and this has been a personal development for me, is that my greatest enemy is me. Like, you can get in your own head, and it's the barriers you put up for yourself, really, because like you're saying, this is obvious. What we need to do is super, like, right in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think it is that business owners, entrepreneurs, like, get stuck in their head that prevents them from doing the obvious?
And maybe it is like, maybe it is a fear of failure, or like, if I can't afford, you think I can't afford to do that, it could keep you from achieving the next step or the next level. Sometimes you have to have courage to take that leap of faith sometimes. I mean, look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk is, in my opinion, the greatest entrepreneur of our generation, or of all time.
It seems impenetrable to critique.
But dude, like, look at the fucking level of courage he had to take launching that 4th rocket on SpaceX.
Mm-hmm.
And if he would have said, you know what, I just fucking can't afford, and he could not afford for that 4th rocket to fucking blow up. But if he did not have the courage to fucking take that leap of faith and have the confidence in his self and his ability to succeed, then, and if he didn't press that fucking launch button and say go, his entire world, our world, would be totally fucking different, but he had the confidence in himself and belief in himself and the fucking courage to say go. And that last rocket that launched earned him a fucking $1 billion contract with NASA. And then, again, money is a fucking tool. And if you utilize it correctly, can just exponentially level you up.
I think that's a huge insight, and what separates people who find rapid success. Because for you, honestly, like when you talk about the speed at which your business developed, the average, they say, like, if your business, the average new business fails, and then the ones that do become profitable take like 3 to 5 years to even start to break even, to turn the corner into profitability. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's crazy. But I think that's what people have to learn in the process, is that like you just said, money is a tool. Money's not the goal. When money's the goal, I think, especially maybe for some people, they can get away with it. I don't know. But once you begin to see oh, I can spend this money or do this because I'm leveraging this tool to get a job done, to get something accomplished that's bigger than myself. And I think that's a huge thing that you seem to already kind of come into this with.
Yeah, I mean,
as an advantage.
I mean, I've never been afraid to spend money ever, you know.
Ice cream for everybody, man.
For sure. But like I think maybe it comes from, and you know, it's funny. I just saw something recently on Elon Musk too. I'll circle back to, and I hate saying circle back because of that bitch in the White House. But
I need to make a video about that. I gotta do it. Yeah, I keep I have this sketch in my head about this. So like, yeah, she's great.
But yeah, fuck her, 100%, and Biden. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I got off track. Yeah, so I think, you know, some perspective too. Like when I lived with my mom and my stepdad, and like I said, they owned a gas station deli thing that, I mean, it was just a complete fucking struggle the entire time they owned it. We lived in a single wide trailer with 5 people, no fucking money ever, you know, like poor as fuck, like just trying to make this business succeed. And like you said, most businesses are not profitable for a long time.
Yeah.
And this was one of them, you know, and it was never profitable. And it was just a fucking sinking ship that they were doing everything they can to plug the holes here and here and here. And it's just going down, you know, and eventually it did. And they had to file bankruptcy and stuff. But, you know, living like that, and eating fucking Fruity Dino Bites and, you know, having to pretend that they were Fruity Pebbles, you know, like, just, but we were super happy, like, you know, as a family, and just always laughing, always like, and we just kind of made fun of it, some of my dark humor maybe, but like, we just like made fun of our situation, you know, just like, all you can do is fucking laugh at, like, you know, and it does no good to fucking bitch and whine about it. It is what it is, man. Like, you got to play the hand you're dealt. Like, yeah, it would have been great to fucking be born into money or you know, come from generations of wealth. And yeah, that's all fucking great and dandy, but that's not us, and that's not reality. And, you know, pissing and crying and whining about it ain't going to change anything. So just do what you can and make the most out of it. And, you know, we were fucking a fun family. We laughed all the time. We laughed at each other. We laughed at our situation, you know, and like, we joked all the time about the fucking Fruity Dino Bites, you know, and like maybe one day, like we're going to hit it big and be able to be in a double wide, you know, like a double wide trailer and have Fruity Pebbles, you know, like, so that perspective, you know, I've had nothing, you know, and then I joined the military and got an apartment, you know, and was fucking just as happy. And then I joined the SEAL teams, like bought a house and was just as happy, and went to Afghanistan for a year and fucking slept on a cot in a tent with no running water for a year, you know, and eating fucking MREs and bullshit, getting my food airdropped and getting shot at, living in a fucking minefield, you know, and again, my dark humor, burning my own shit. And, you know, it's like, what can you do? It's like, this is your life, dude. Like, it is what it is. Just fucking laugh about it.
Sucks until it doesn't.
Make the most of it.
Right,
like, that's all you can do. Like, or you can be a miserable fuck. Like, the choice is yours. And it's not going to change anything, you know? So I might as well be happy, bitch. So, like,
is that on a t-shirt yet? Might as well be happy, bitch.
So
it could be the new Hakuna Matata or something like that.
So yeah, there's a show, a hilarious podcast. Shout out to Small Town Murder.
Okay, yeah,
those guys are fucking hilarious, and they have a shirt that says "Cheer up, bitch." It's funny as hell, but they're similar. But yeah, anyway, but I realized, you know, during that I was just as fucking happy. So, and I literally had nothing there. I had a box of like my personal stuff, you know, some pictures of my family and stuff, like whatever, like. so I wasn't like super materialistic. You know, I realized early, I guess after that like money didn't really buy happiness. And at the time I kind of thought that was like what success was. When I was in my 20s, like early 20s or whatever, probably because like my dad was was always a real hard worker, was in the military, got out, got a good job with the government, was always really financially sound, saved his money, was kind of a tight ass with things, but was always generous with his money too, like with us, like growing up, took us skiing, took us whatever, tried to do nice things for us, but he's like cheap in a sense. When it comes to like, he saves all the scraps, and you know what I mean? Like, just cause he doesn't come from money either, So, but he bought like a Corvette and a nice house, and, so I just kind of, that was like, okay, that's what you do, like you make money and then you get a house, you get a Corvette, you get a Harley, and it's like, these are signs of success, but like none of this shit was like making me happy. I realized like I'm just as happy without this shit, and I'm in fucking a bunch of debt. You know what I mean? Like, so I ended up like, after all that, I ended up like selling all that shit, and just realized happiness is a fucking mindset. It's a choice. And so I guess maybe that also changed my outlook on money and like the fear of losing it. Like if my company fucking burned to the ground tomorrow and I had nothing, I'd be fucking fine.
Yeah,
I would literally be fine.
Do it again.
Yeah, also the thought of literally, I was in 5th fucking grade pushing a lawnmower door to door. There's always going to be fucking something that people don't want to do that you can do. And if you're not afraid of hard work, like, you can make money, So, and I've always trusted in my work ethic, or, like my ability to make money. I know that, and I'm at a point now where I can't fucking fail. I've done too much. Like, my resume is too fucking solid.
Yeah.
To where I am valuable, and I'll always be able to make money. And, I've lived in a fucking single wide trailer with 5 people and have been just as happy, or, just as happy as I am now. I've lived in Afghanistan in a fucking minefield, no running water, whatever, just as happy. So I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm willing to take chances and risks, and maybe that has led to my expedited success. Yeah. I don't know.
That the drive that you have, I think, you talked earlier about when you started realizing that, wow, people are watching what I'm doing. They seem to be, they're invested in who I am, what I represent, and that giving back, like you being, an example, or being present for whoever's investing in you. You're pouring into them. You're giving them something of value that really can't be quantified. Like a piece of advice, or encouragement in a time, a place, a situation where they need it. And I mean, I think that's serves your brand so well, and I think it shines through too, just as a way to like compliment you, like whether in person or on your social media, being the same person and being invested in your audience and helping people. I think that's huge, especially when it comes to the cop side of things, which, I mean, I guess there's always like a certain sense of relatability on some level between cops and military, just because both of them end up in a situation where somebody's telling them what to do with their life, and they're kind of going through that whole experience.
And you're serving
that. Yeah. So where did Adopt a Cop come in out of this, out of your brand or personality? Obviously you're into fighting, right? And jiu-jitsu and the mixed martial arts and stuff. So what was like the moment where you're like, you know, I want to do something about cops not training properly or enough or whatever?
I've always supported police. My grandfather was a police officer. My uncle was a police officer. And so I've always been vocal about being supportive of police. And like I said, like, I think police officers have one of the most dangerous and difficult jobs in our country. And I think I believe it's one of the most important jobs in our country as well, because without law and order, you can't have a functioning society. And I've been all over the world, and I like America. You know, I like how America is a functioning society. You know, not so much lately. It's been a fucking shit show because people are just, more than half of the people in this country are retarded. And you know, and the fact that, like, I just understand how important that role is. I hate that more people don't appreciate the level of sacrifice that job is, and the perception that the media paints around cops, and the cowardice nature of people, of a lot of higher ups in the police, politicians, whatever. I hate the cowardice fucking nature of these people who are afraid to stand up to the media, to the emotional public, you know, that isn't rational or logical. You know, it's like, since when the fuck why are people, you know, taking the criminal's fucking side and not feeling bad for the police officer who's not out here trying to break the law, who's actually trying to enforce the law of, you know, the rule of law, and like, so that we can all function as a happy, healthy society. You have fucking assholes out here who are doing shit that are putting people in harm's way, or, you know what I mean, like driving drunk and this and that. And it's like, you're gonna side with this fucking asshole who's out here breaking the law, but you're not gonna side with the guy who doesn't want any of this, not out here breaking the law. He's actually trying to keep our society safe, and, you know, keep those people from doing stupid shit. Like, it's just so ridiculous to me. And you know, so I've always been very outspoken about my support for law enforcement, and I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about that. And, you know, I don't know, maybe being a MMA fighting Navy SEAL, like, I just don't really give a fuck what you have to say about it, because at the end of the day, what are you going to do about it? You know, like, I'm not in the military. I'm a free fucking person now. You know, so what, I can say what I want, because we're, you know, luckily we're in America and we still have that right as of now. Yeah. Freedom of speech. And, you know, so I'm going to say what the fuck I want to say, and you're welcome to agree with it or not. That's fine. But you're not going to tell me I can't say it, or try to cancel me or anything like that. And if you want to come try and physically shut me up, fucking good luck. I dare you, you know, I welcome it. So I've always been very outspoken and want to show my support to police. And I feel like there's a lot of cops that can't, you know, defend themselves even, because, and I know what that's like too, being in a position where, you know, in the military, you fight for other people's freedom, but you don't have it yourself, you know? Yeah. And in the police, I mean, you guys have a little bit more, because at the end of the day, it's a job that you can quit. Yeah. You know, but at the same time, people have fucking mortgages, they have families they got to feed, so they rely on this job and this paycheck. So, you know, you either fucking play by the rules or you don't, or you go hungry, kind of thing. And obviously there's always a line in the sand, and that you have to decide whether this is worth it or not. But there's a lot of cops that fucking just have to take this fucking disrespect and this you know, bullshit, and there's not a whole lot of people who are willing to fucking step up and fight for them, or, you know, and not in a, like, maybe in a physical sense, but like in a fucking a virtuous one, or you know, like at least showing support and speaking up for this shit. And that's what I, will ferociously do, and I'm happy to do so. And I'm in a position where I can speak my mind, regardless of what anyone thinks. And so I'm happy to do so. But the Adopt a Cop came, obviously I have a background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and fighting and everything, and combatives, my operational side, like I said, I was in the SEAL teams and I taught combatives and have experience, controlling, prisoners and combatives or combative type individuals, and with jiu-jitsu and MMA, I realized how effective jiu-jitsu is in controlling a combative situation. And even being from when I started jiu-jitsu, I started rolling with these guys that are 130 pounds and fucking tying me in knots, and it's just like, dude, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like,
yeah,
if these little guys can do this to me, like, I need to learn this stuff, like, it's super effective. And so then obviously as the better and better I got at it, it's just like a superpower, like, yeah. And I always encouraged police officers, I was always vocal about they should all train. And a lot of guys have been, a lot of guys have been vocal about that. But when, like the George Floyd shit happened and all the fucking, Black Lives Matter shit's going on, and it's all this scrutiny towards cops and this and that, and these shootings happening, and like, a lot of times I understand why the shootings happen, because if you get to a situation where you're in a tussle and a scramble with someone and they get to your weapon or whatever, like, shootings have to happen sometimes, and because that cop's life is fucking valuable, and if you ask me, it's more valuable than the fucking criminal that is put themselves in this situation and is making it fucking escalating it worse and worse by not complying and resisting arrest. Like, it's like, I'm sure so many of us like see these situations unfold and we're like, stop breaking the law, asshole. It's like,
right.
It's like, it's so many of these would be avoided if people just complied. Yeah. Okay. Obviously there's a country full of retards that aren't going to do that. So what's the other next solution is better training, to be able to handle these types of situations. And I felt like, and then obviously all this defund the police shit was going around, and I'm like, no, like, the police need more training. What they need is every department should have a dedicated mat room and a dedicated black belt there, and
a complete curriculum
teaching
to finish,
fucking police officers. Like, jiu-jitsu should be mandatory, because I felt that there's so many of these situations that I've seen, these shootings or whatever, and they get in these scrambles, and I'm like, man, if that cop knew a fucking blue belt level of jiu-jitsu, they would have been able to control the situation, and this shooting wouldn't have happened. And now, our Foot Lockers would still have fucking shoes in them, and the buildings wouldn't be all burned down to the ground, and because of this fucking nonsense, like, all this shit could have been avoided if this cop knew some jiu-jitsu and could just bam end it right here, without life-threatening measures.
Right.
Or like, I saw and I believed as well that some of these shootings were happening because the cop felt in fear for their life, when if they were more confident in their ability to go hands-on and not back away from a fight, but fucking bring it and like end it, and control it and be the dominant grappler in the situation. And like, even now, like, as a SEAL, like, I've put millions of fucking rounds through a gun, but my confidence in my ability to go hands-on with another human being, I will instinctually choose that over going to shoot you, because I just I have that much confidence that I'll fucking be able to take you down and control you. Yeah. And control the situation. Yeah. So I felt like a lot of these shootings were happening because of a fear and a lack of confidence, and their ability to do that.
Yeah, what I was saying is like the greatest gift for jiu-jitsu that has given me, and I think can give others, and I know have given others through experiences and conversations, is when I rode with you today, like 6 years ago, that would have intimidated me. In the sense of like, no, not really. I mean, he choked me, but it didn't intimidate me. But it's I think like the for people who, and I grew up doing like martial arts and stuff like that, and I've always never really have minded like a physical altercation, but especially when you first become a cop. And it's like that first fight is on, the heart rate, the intensity. It's like, shoof. Yeah. And that decreases your ability to react appropriately. Your brain just shuts down. Like everything is narrowing in on you. And the gift that I think jiu-jitsu gives cops is you can be on the bottom, getting smashed, and learning the answer isn't to freak out. Mm-hmm. The answer is to work through the problem and learn the appropriate things. When you recognize, okay, I don't know how to deal with this, now I can learn how to deal with it, and then make the adjustments and put the time in to get better in the area that you're weak in. But finding that decision-making ability and the speed of everything, being able to slow down a little bit in circumstances, or that whole world. When you spent an hour on the mat getting smashed by people,
just another day.
Then when it goes to the ground, when you're at work, you're at home.
Yeah, it's not the first time you've been in this situation.
Now you're like, oh well, I know what I'm feeling confident here, and I can move through that. And then that translates, I think, doubly then into when you start knowing, you get to that point to where you're always getting tested in jiu-jitsu by people who are making you work that much harder forever. But then when you do have the experience with someone who's untrained, and you realize, you said superpower, mm-hmm. You realize like, oh my gosh, for the average person, the confidence level I think that comes across, but you recognize the flip side of that coin is that person could also maybe be the person that's going to kick my ass. So the way you carry yourself, I think from start to finish, it can revolutionize the way a cop does policing, mm-hmm. From their attitude when they walk into a room, because there's a quiet confidence to them, I think, mm-hmm. and an ability to know that I'm put in bad situations day in and day out when I'm not here, and I can handle it when it happens here.
Yeah, for sure. And I believe that's, it affects the police officer's demeanor and their attitude too, as well, like in the interaction with people when they're afraid, and they kind of will maybe try to control the situation through aggression and fear of a nervousness or hand on the weapon or whatever, and it just calm breeds calm, chaos breeds chaos. And so anyway, like for all of these reasons, I was just thinking like, man, every police station should have a dedicated mat space and black belt and this and that. But I realized that like that from being in the military and dealing with fucking red tape and jumping through hoops to get anything fucking approved or done or whatever, it was just a nightmare, and it could never be simple, and that was one of the most frustrating things about the military to me. But I know that the police are similar. So I was like, like, why don't we do something to where like civilians can just sponsor police officers to go train, go train. And like I used to do the like adopt a kid or whatever, like from a different country, and they send you a picture of them, right, send on money every month, or whatever, like, and on my fridge, and
Hector's learned how to read this month, and
exactly, which are bullshit, by the way, like which I found out. But I used to adopt kids on there, and I kept their little pictures on my fridge. And I was like, people can adopt a cop. And like, I've also seen so many shitty charities out there that, you donate money to, like I have in the past, and like you have no fucking clue where it goes. But like when they send you a picture of this kid, it's like supposedly my money went to little Jorge, you know, and like so I was like, okay, well that's.
Did you send him a box of Fruity Pebbles?
No. Well, the quick little off story. I called into one of those companies, or it was like Adopt a Kid or whatever, and I called and I was like, yeah, I'd like to adopt a kid, and they were like, well, do you want a boy or a girl? And I was like, well, fuck, I don't know, like I guess I'll just do one of each. I don't know, because I didn't want to like decide whether it's like a little boy gets food today or a little girl gets food today, you know. It's just like, fuck it, I'll do one of each. And then so they sent me these pictures of like little Jorge and Sammy, and I was like, oh cool, and I put them on my fridge, and I was like, yeah, these are my adopted kids, you know, like I send money to them every month. And I felt good. But then and then I got like an updated picture, and I was like, huh, like this one looks kind of like a boy now or whatever. And it turned out it was a boy. They sent me 2 boys, and I'm like, these motherfuckers can't even like they can't even see, like, tell if I'm getting a boy or a girl. Like, this fucking charity's bullshit, you know? And it pissed me off.
They just believe gender's a social construct, so it's...
Yeah, well, this was a few years ago, before, you know, when the world had maybe a little bit more sanity. And so anyway, I was just like, man, fuck this. This is bullshit. Like, and I was like, I'm so sick of bullshit charities. And I wanted, like, a way, but that concept was cool. Like, at least you sort of knew, or you had the idea, like, my money went here. Right. And I was like, you know, we could do that with like a cop, like adopt a cop. And like, you can sponsor, you know, Officer Mike, and, you know, and then like I pair you up like on Instagram.
I need to do like a in the arms of an angel.
Yeah.
Sort of
and like I can like pair you up. So like if this random person donated, you know, $50 or whatever it was for the membership, then like I say, hey, thank you, you know, and tag them, use social media. It's like, thank you, you know, Joe Schmo for your sponsorship. Your donation went to Officer Mike. And, you know, and like that whole program, like the way I developed it was using social media and using platform to be transparent and to see, like, so all the donors can see all these cops training jujitsu. And it's like, you know, we were like tagging them, like, your donation helped Officer blank, your donation helped Officer blank, you know. So it was like kind of like a, whoa, these are real people that I'm helping, and this is a real officer that I'm helping train. And they, you know, a lot of times they message each other and say, hey, thanks for your support, you know. And it's like brings a whole connection to it. And yeah, the program, the way I like wanted it to be, like I just kind of had that idea. And I was like, you know, if we do that, then it's like civilian run. It's on their own time. They don't have to fucking ask their command or anything. Like, there's no red tape they have to do. It's just, you just got to prove to us that you're an active duty police officer and go fucking pick a gym you want to train at, you know, and we'll sponsor you. And I have, you know, enough followers that maybe, you know, support police and will want to, or are in a position to where they can help, you know, solve this problem, and be a part of the solution instead of, you know, just bitching about it. And I figured that with the way I had the program, it was like it was an attendance-based sponsorship. So it's not just, you know, we're not just going to throw away money. You're going to fucking, if these people are willing to give you their hard-earned money for you to learn training, you know, a valuable skill set that could save your life and make this country, I think we would all agree, if there was less police shootings, you know, our country would probably be in a little better position, you know. And again, that's not, I'm not saying that's because of the fucking cops' fault. Right. It's definitely a two-way street. Like, how about you assholes stop fucking breaking the law, or just fucking comply? Like, you know, all these fucking shootings, every one of them would be alive if they complied. Like, in all these situations that people are fucking writing about. And that's how I feel, 1,000,000%. I'm not sorry about that. Fuck you if you disagree. I don't care. But, and so, but this is a way to, you know, have a solution for the police officers to get better training and do that part. We're not going to make criminals less or more compliant, but we can make the police officers better trained and that are willing. And so I wanted this to be an attendance-based sponsorship. You have to train a minimum of 1 time per week, which I think is very reasonable and very doable. It's an hour out of a week. And, if you can't commit to an hour of training a week, then, I'm not going to ask people to give you their money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and I think that's a fair trade-off, So, and then we have it to where the police officer has to post a picture of their training session once a week and just say, how this is helping you as a police officer, and like, what are you learning? What is is the point of all this worth it? Is it working? Like, you know what I mean? And I knew it would be. So I wanted that, and that would also help generate content for our page. And it will help the donors see, like, wow, this really is making a difference. It's helping. And the feedback from the police, we need it. So, I just said, hey, fucking, it's open. And I just had an idea. I was on live stream when I had the idea. And I was just like, yeah, it's a thing. Go do it. And like I said, money is a tool. And my supplement company, Massive Supplements, is, it's doing pretty well. And, I have, more money than I've ever had in my entire life. And, like I said, I'm not super materialistic or anything like that. I want to help people. I want to be a philanthropist. And this was a way where I was like, this is something that I can make happen with money. And I don't need to ask anyone. I don't need to, go fucking beg, borrow, and steal for this. Like, I've got it. So yeah, it's a thing. Go do it. And I just said it's open. Any police officer in the country can go start training, and we'll sponsor you. And I sponsored the first 60 police officers myself, just to get a proof of concept going. Because I figured once people saw these officers training and writing their little, why this is helping them, then they would get on board and get behind it. And then eventually we would get some corporate sponsors, hopefully, or some people with serious money, like I'm doing okay, but I'm not fucking made of money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a multi-millionaire, you know what I mean? But there are plenty of those out there with deep pockets, and, and then maybe they feel philanthropic themselves. Maybe they want to give back to this cause, or want to support police, or think it's a great idea, and will donate money to the charity, and then we can take it to the next level. But in the meantime, like, I wanted it to be a thing. And that with me, I'm an extremist. Everything I do extreme, and I have no fucking patience. So I'm like, it's open now. Let's go. Everyone across the country, you're welcome to do it.
Ready, fire, aim,
go. And and it fucking took off. And and it worked out the way I thought it would. And again, that comes back to that what we talked about earlier, is just having that courage to just and belief in yourself and your ideas. Like, as long as they're logical and, like, you run it. I run these little scenarios in my head, and I'm like, yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't. Like, I think it's a good idea. Like, I don't think anyone else would. I mean, maybe, obviously you're not going to have everyone agree with you, but I think a lot of people would. And I don't need everyone to support it. I just need, the right people too. Yeah. And so, yeah, I just started it, and it's been 7 months now. And we sponsor over 1,000 police officers across the country. And we have over 500 gyms affiliated across the country, flying the Adopt a Cop flag and showing their support as well. And, any police officer can apply on our website, adoptacopbjj.org. And we just verify that you are a police officer, and, just point you in the direction of a gym that is already an Adopt a Cop affiliate in your area. Yeah. Or, if there's not, you can just go to the gym and apply, or, you just go in there and ask them if they want to be an Adopt a Cop affiliate. And if not, that doesn't matter. That you can still train there and we'll still sponsor you. So literally there's no downside. Like if you want to train, you can.
Yeah. No, one less excuse anyway.
Yeah. Just take away the excuses, you know?
Yeah. You can make a lot, but I think you've done a good job of giving enough runway that there's no reason. Like you either want to do it or you don't, but
yeah,
there's no reason to not do it.
And you know, if you are a police officer out there and you're not training, I think you're doing yourself and this country a serious disservice. You know, and I mean that with respect, you know, but like, I know that it's not the best solution. Or it's not the most perfect answer or whatever, but it's, yeah, like I said, I think all police officers should have available training to them where they're getting paid and it's part of the job and it's a requirement, you know, but that's not the reality right now. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't negate the fact that the reality is there are bad people out there that will do anything in their power to not go to jail or whatever and don't give a shit about your life or getting your gun from you and using it on you. And if you don't have the knowledge and ability to control that situation and stop it, you know, it could be your family going to your funeral. So fucking you owe it to yourself, your family, to fucking put in the work that's necessary for you to come home to them at night. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so that comes with the territory of being a police officer. So I think you should really consider, you know, putting in the effort and doing the training and trust and believe. It is better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah, for sure. One last, I guess, question that I had wanted to ask you is, how does someone, you know, for police officers, they have to go through the academy experience. They get pushed in certain ways and forced into either you kind of get the job and do it or you don't. But there's a little bit of a push from the outside to get with the program. It's like a similar, I think, concept in the military, right? Like you come in there fresh and you don't know what to expect, and they say like this is how it's going to be, and they kind of shape you through the experiences into what they expect from you. But for someone who doesn't come from a police background, military background, but they have a drive to accomplish something or an idea to accomplish something, business wise, personally, whatever it is, you know, you've done like weight loss challenges with people, and you have like your fast challenge and all, there's a variety of things. Is that the solution in your mind? If you have no outside pressure to perform or improve, but you have something inside you that maybe even just a spark of that, do you think stepping into someone else challenging you to do something is the answer, or can you challenge yourself in some way? What do you think like that path forward looks like if you're like, man, I want something better for my life in any area? What do you think that path forward is? Because like the whole mantra of mindset is everything. How do you get your mind right to do that? Do you need somebody on the outside telling you that, or can it all come internally, do you think?
I think everybody's different, you know. I think some people need to be pushed, and then they'll kind of like get going on their own. Maybe they need that initial, you know, kind of shove off, and then they'll, you know, start flapping their wings and flying on their own, you know. And other people are just will take that leap themselves and start flapping their wings. But I mean, I think really the most important piece of it is action. I mean, just taking the fucking action in general. You know, like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Michael Scott.
You know, yeah. And You know what I mean? So, I think it's just action. And I don't know if I'm even answering the question or how you're expecting it, but
yeah, I have no expectations. I'm just curious your take on that. Like, some people feel like, yeah, I'm fascinated by people who excel, and people who, you know, and it's not even just business. So some people are they're happy. And I actually think that that's a really good thing. If someone's like, if they have their 9 to 5 and they love it, you know, I don't think entrepreneurship necessarily or business ownership is for everybody, because they might just not be interested in that.
No,
and that's
definitely
okay. You know,
not.
great. But they're still like, man, I want to accomplish X with my life, my relationships, my finances, whatever it is, you know, whatever those things are. It's like, how do they, and a lot of people just don't have the outside direction of someone saying, here's what you need to do. So it's kind of like, what's the first step for people who want to see something bigger and better in their life in any area? Is it all, you know, how do they get their mindset right?
I would say maybe, probably setting goals of some sort and pursuing them, you know, just taking action and pursuing them. And it's okay to fail, you know, it's okay to fail, because even if you fail, you know, you will gain experience, and you can apply that experience moving forward. And, you know, experience is often gained right after you need it. So get out there, set a goal, fucking do your best to try and achieve it. And if you fail, that's okay. If you come up short, that's okay. You've gained experience, you know. And I tell people on the fasting challenge, like, who go for it, and maybe this is like a serious fucking challenge for them, like going 10 days without food is that's some people can't even fathom that, you know.
Kind of like not sleeping from Sunday to Wednesday.
Right. Like, yeah. But you don't know until you actually try, you know. And your mind is by far the most powerful tool you have, and your mind is so much stronger than you even understand until you really push it, you know, to that limit. Like David Goggins and Cameron Haynes, these guys are not genetically special. They're human beings. They are literally, like, look at David Goggins. He was fucking fat and 300 pounds, whatever, couldn't run a mile. And literally, he didn't, like, all of a sudden get robotic legs or whatever, you know what I mean? He just made a choice and fucking went with it and put in the action, put in the steps, one foot in front of the other, and consistently over time, giving effort consistently over time, and you get results. And now he's fucking running 200 plus miles. I mean, it's again, there's nothing special about him other than his ability to make a decision and commit to it and stick to it and endure that suck and keep going. Same, you know, like action is required. And if you fail, it's okay. You've gained experience. Fucking try again. When the 10-day fast, people set out to do it. They make it to day 3 or 4 and they're like, sorry, I fucking quit. Like, you know, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, now you know what it's like to fast 4 days. You don't know what it's like to fast 10, but you know what those first 4 days are like. So the next time you do those first 4 days, you've already been down this road. You've already experienced this. Now let's take it, go as far as you can. And very oftentimes they fucking crush the second one, you know, because they've gained that experience, you know, moving into now they get to try again, but with experience behind them. You know, you're armed with experience now. And I think when you set out to do difficult things, right, or you set a goal and it's something that you have to put in effort and work towards, and it's hard, and you achieve that goal, that's what instills confidence. You know, and then you take that confidence and you apply it to the next challenge. whatever it may be. And it can be a fast, it could be a promotion at work, it can be a new goal, a new career entirely. It could be a relationship. It could be whatever the fuck you want. That's something that you want and you set out to get and achieve. You're not going to achieve it without action. Mm-hmm. So take the action, fucking endure it, embrace it, welcome the challenge, don't shy away from it. Do what's required. There's a fucking path to every goal. There's a path. And you might not know exactly what that path is going to entail, but there is a path and you need to stay on it and just endure whatever the fuck it throws at you and navigate it, and don't fucking quit until you're there or as far as you can. And then fucking, again, you gained experience, try again. Yeah, I just think that's the way to it. And then like you take that confidence and you apply it to the next goal and the next goal and the next goal. It just compounds, and and then you just got to keep setting goals. But again, I think like you said, there's plenty of people that have a 9-to-5 and a simple life and they're happy, and that's great. Mm-hmm. Like that's also a perspective. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's awesome. Yeah. Not everybody needs to be Elon Musk. Not everybody needs to be David Goggins. Not everybody needs to be fucking, it's totally cool to be you. But the problem is if you have a 9-to-5 and you're unhappy with it and don't fucking sit around and bitch and moan about it, do something about it. If you are happy and you're content and satisfied, wonderful. You won't hear a word from me. If you are that guy and you're fucking like, well, I want to do more, blah, 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 but you're not taking any action, then shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good way. That's a good way to end it. I love it. Oh, dude, I really appreciate you, coming into town, getting on the mats with cops today, sharing some of your thoughts and experiences, and even this time here is like I can't wait to like go back and re-listen and kind of like glean out the principles and kind of like put it in my head like, yeah, man, this is awesome. So awesome. I feel like I got a little education today. So this is good. Well,
thanks, man. Thanks for
having me. As long as it leads to action.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't just stay in my head and
it
improves what I'm doing.
If not, shut the fuck up.
That's another shirt right there.
There you
go. Improve or shut the fuck up. Yeah. I like that.
So thank you very much for having me out and inviting me out.
Where can everybody like find wherever you want people to go? Tell them where you want them to go.
Yeah, so you can. My main platform for sure is Instagram at Mitch _Aguiar, MITCH _AGUIAR. You'll probably have to type in the full thing. I'm shadow banned, and it's verified, so don't follow the fake ones. And on YouTube at Mitch Aguiar, and my website, and then you can also follow Massive MASF Industries on Instagram and Adopt a Cop BJJ on Instagram. My website for my supplements is masfsupplements.com. Check out our supplements. They're all amazing.
Just had the Smashing Reds today for the first time.
Yep. Smashing Greens, Smashing Reds, the whole nine. Check them all out. We also have a CBD line called Massive Relief, MASF Relief, and that's masfrelief.com. It's on its own website, USDA certified organic CBD. And adoptacopbjj.org is our charity's website, and you can go on there and read more about the program. If you're an officer, you can fill out an application, and we have 100% approval rate as long as you are a police officer. And we have a map on there where you can look for affiliated gyms in your area or wherever. We have them all over the country. And if you are a gym owner, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym owner, and you'd like to become a part of the program, you can apply on there to be an affiliate and fly our flag and be on our website on the map and everything. So, and show your support to police. And yeah, it's all good stuff. So
love it.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you all for listening, and thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Giddy up.